the Board of Park Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, May 28th. Abby, please call the roll.
Mr. Emmerich?
Here.
Mr. Harrelson?
Here.
Mrs. Anderson?
Here.
All members are present.
Awesome. First item is approval of the minutes for our May 7th. Is there any additions or subtractions from those minutes? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Uh,
Oh, you take the motion.
Yeah, motion.
I will second.
There you go. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Moving on to our reports, Mr. Drake.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Got nothing to add to my report. I could give two quick updates. One, we did fill our park maintenance worker position. David Couch promoted internally into that position. So we have he vacated a park labor position that it was posted. I believe that posting closes today. So it looks like we do possibly have another internal candidate that is put in for that. So we'll be backfilling his labor position. And then a quick update I could give for the Duke Park pickleball courts. They have been paved, like I said, at last month's meeting. Total Tennis is scheduled to be there later this week to start on the south courts. That'd be the recoating and striping. And then they estimate that will take approximately 1 week, and then that will put us beyond our 3-week window cure time that we had on the north courts, and they'll be able to move directly over to the north courts then and start the coating and striping process on those as well. So that project really has moved along really well, all things considered, with the weather and the delays we had. So we're probably still looking at a late first week of June, late into that week or the first part of the second week to get those open.
Good.
So
Good.
that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Drake? Mr. Seiler, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Anything to add to your report?
Just a couple highlights. We've had a significant increase over the course of the last several weeks since the last meeting on Float Troy reservations. We've got 141 tents reserved so far to date for the summer. And then also we're just wrapping up our graduation season. Ended on Sunday night, and our staff has been tearing all that down today, and we're starting to freeze the floor today for summer ice. So that'll take us about 6 days to get ready to go. Summer ice will start next Monday, June 3rd. And we had a pretty nice start to the Troy Aquatic Park season. Saturday was a pretty decent day. We're up to 317 season passes at this present time. So usually our goal is about 500, and it'll be relying upon these next couple weeks of good weather in the first part of June to hit that.
Yeah. It's definitely a good weekend to be there. I think I sent Jeremy a text at one point a couple weeks ago. I don't remember if we brought it up at a meeting, but I saw Float Troy got highlighted in, was that Southern Living magazine or something like that, Outdoor Travel magazine. They did a little call out for top events in small cities. It was pretty cool. So, any questions for Mr. Seiler? Mr. Boer submitted his report. He is not here today, and I don't have anything to add from a planning commission standpoint. So that'll take us on over to new business. The first item under new business is a recommendation to City Council to submit a CDBG grant application, which includes upgrades to Hurlinger Park. Is there someone from the city to discuss that, or is that you, Jeremy? Mr. Davis? Okay.
Hello, thank you. For those who don't know me, I'm Tim Davis, Development Director for the City of Troy. So I see one new face on the board I haven't spoken to since January. So this would be a recommendation to City Council to submit a grant to the CDBG grant application, which includes upgrades to Hurlinger Park. So to kind of give you a little bit of background, I'll go through the background and I go through the program a little bit and then tie it into the park where you're at. So that's kind of my plan of action. In 2017, we did a downtown riverfront strategic study, which identified items and goals for the city moving forward. One of the goals came up when the low dam project came through and was approved. So with that low dam removal, what it did, it provided enough shelf life that we can add a rec trail and mirror the one to the north on the south side. So the trail would run from Treasure Island Park all the way past to the east side of the railroad tracks on Clay Street. What we would do then is connect that to West Water Street and then run a Crawford Street pedestrian pathway all the way down to Hurlinger Park. So that's kind of the big scope of the project. For the park board's purposes, what we wanted to do was make improvements. So the grant application requires different activities. It has to be in an LMI service area, which stands for low to moderate income, which this area is, and it has to have 4 different activities. So some of the activities we tied together were stormwater improvements, street improvements, sidewalk improvements, and recreational improvements. So we held 6 different meetings. 4 of those meetings were held at Forest School. We invited neighboring residents. So I think there were, how many residents, Jacqueline, do you remember? About 14 members. No, how many did we invite overall with the letter? A little less than 200. About 200 residents we invited this meeting. We had about 15 to 20 residents at each meeting, and we asked them what they wanted to see in their area because they'll be mostly impacted by this the most. They talked about different things, pickleball courts being one, lighting at Hurlinger Park was requested. They talked about new playground equipment, things of that nature. So we took all their comments with the road improvements and Hurlinger Park improvements and put together an application that we hope to submit. So specifically for the park board, the improvements included a new playground equipment. We talked about a 9-hole disc golf course, and then installation of pickleball courts with new lighting, improved parking, which would be there's gravel on the east side and west side that we would pave, and then add fencing around the playground equipment because of the safety of the children. That came up specifically from the neighboring residents, and we wanted to take all their comments into consideration with this grant. So the ultimate cost of this project is $160,000. What we would be doing is using $100,000 of the CDBG grant money, and then ask the Director of Public Service and Safety to place into the budget $60,000 from the Troy Parks budget in 2025 to pay for some of the improvements as well. We do have other grants that we are seeking now. We won't know if we receive those until later, so this is our plan moving forward, but we're hoping to offset that so there's no general funds spent if possible. But right now, that is the breakdown of the grant. And as stated, we will continue to look for other grants, but we hope to submit an application to the state of Ohio on June 12th of 2024. So we're asking that you provide a recommendation to City Council in support of this grant. So I'll be happy to entertain any questions you may have.
So timeline-wise, I know we're still pending some grants here, but is this a 2025 project, or is it a late 2024 project?
The overall project will be a 2025, 2026 project,
Okay.
Yeah. So it would not start any earlier than 2025.
Okay. And so right now at Hurlinger, we have a basketball court, we have some shelters, and we have playground equipment. Okay, awesome. Any other questions? No. Does the board wish to take some action on this? If there's a motion, or is there a motion on this?
I will move to recommend as requested.
All right, and I can second that. Abby, do you want me to read that out, or how do you think we should do that there? You want us to read through this, or can we just?
We could make a recommendation to City Council to submit the CDBG grant.
Okay. Do you want to do that, and then I'll second it? How about that?
As requested, yes.
Yeah.
Move to recommend to City Council to submit a CDBG grant application for the upgrades to Hurlinger Park.
And then I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, recommendation passed.
Thank you.
Yep. Next item on the agenda is a discussion of our annual park tours. So this is when we're going to visit a couple of the larger parks, as well as we will have a breakdown of all of the parks. We'll make sure that we visit individually as a board and then get together for some of the key parks. And so we're hoping to do that in July, since this is suffices kind of our June meeting. So looking at dates, we have the early part of July, obviously some holidays, so we're kind of looking at that week of the 15th. So I don't know if we can pull out our calendars and see if anything works on the 15th with you guys. Jeremy, I don't know how that looks for you too.
I'm pretty good that whole week, actually.
Okay. I have T-ball the 16th, so I'm probably, shooting for either the 15th or the 17th.
The 15th works for me.
15th works for me.
Okay, all right, let's, go ahead and put that as a July 15th meeting, Abby.
At what time?
We traditionally do 5, is that correct?
5 or 6, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
what works for you?
Either one, actually.
Let's do 5 then.
And you'll meet at the Park Department office.
That's perfect. All righty. Any other discussion on that? All right. Anything else to come before the park board today?
Chair, I've just got one thing.
Yep.
We talked about this at the last year's annual park tour, the need for strategic planning for the park board itself, separate and apart from the city. I just think as a year now has passed and we're coming back around to the park tour again, it would, and we have now a new member in Mrs. Anderson, I think it would be a good idea for us to think about that and discuss that at that time, again, to pick back up. We knew that we would have a departing park board member at the time last year, and so I think it's a good idea to consider the strategic planning needs of the Board of Park Commissioners vis-a-vis our budget, talking with Mr. Drake about, what are the future needs over the capital improvement projects over the years, as we look at the Hurlinger Park CDBG, application. There's more playgrounds that have needs.
Yeah.
There's more facilities that have needs. I just think it's a good idea for us to revisit that discussion.
No, that makes sense. And, there's some things that I've been a part of as part of, there's an advisory committee as a part of our comprehensive planning that's currently in place, and the parks have come up multiple times in that. So some of that is getting weaved into that, but then there is part of the discussion was actually like a long-term parks plan as part of that.
Right.
Coming out of that as well, so.
And I'm aware that the city's obviously going through its strategic planning process, but from my initial conversations with people involved in that, it was understood that it would not be a deep dive into park needs, because every aspect of the city's operations has to be addressed in that, and that's completely understandable, but we should revisit the topic of actually having a specific park strategic plan.
Yeah, it's definitely not a deep dive. I think that's fair to say, so. No, it's a good point. We should let's make sure that we discuss that too and have that on the agenda, because we've talked about it. And, we'll review, Jeremy has a 3-year capital plan that we typically walk through together. So it's a good time to include that as well. Anything else? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thanks.